Las Vegas for a conference, and everybody was excited because we're going to be gambling and whatnot. And I asked him, I was like, hey, you gamble? And he looked at me and said, yeah,
life.
every day I gamble. But
Yep.
was he at the craps table?
Hell
or,
no.
No way, man. He's not.
That's
He's
how I
worked
see
too
it.
hard for his money to put it up to chance like that.
But then you see Dana White.
Again, habit,
Yep.
decisions, responsibility, personal responsibility.
Yep.
He was a very matter-of-fact, alpha dominant guy, which most leaders I know whose nuts are on the line every day.
Yeah.
They're very focused people because they have to be that way.
Yep.
Trump is the way he is
Yep.
because he is responsible to write paychecks for hundreds and hundreds of employees every month. When you have that responsibility, man, you are a focused individual.
Yep.
If you
if you treat it with the amount of respect and care that
well, if you don't, you go bankrupt, or
Right.
you go out of business. You have to lay people off, and
Well, and then again, a lot of people credit Trump for being a great businessman, and you can absolutely make that case, right? But if you look at it just straight from like a personal financial wealth and like profitability perspective, not really, because he has great assets, in the form of all of his real estate, but there was a point in like the 90s that he was personally about $3 billion in personal debt. And then he climbed out of that. And like I was having a argument sort of conversation with our favorite neighbor, my parents. And he was like, just think about all like the families this guy has destroyed. It's like, think about all the families he helped create. As much as he probably made it uncomfortable for some families in a period where like he had to shut down one of his many businesses that he did declare bankruptcy on. But
how many kids have gone to college
because of
him?
Right.
Of their parents had a job that worked for him and were able to save and afford to send their kids to school.
Right.
And, I mean, if you employ people, and this is for you because you're starting this company and all, as you get more and more people, I mean, the negative is the headaches and the two sides to everything. So the negative side is that you get more pressure on you, but you have a much bigger chance to positively impact lives of people that work for you. And people are really loyal to employers when they know that employer cares and is going to bat every day for them.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. But then, beyond like taking care of families, that I absolutely agree with your sentiment. And I wasn't thinking about it that way in the time. But then, I was retrospectively like, like it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, sure, there are some families adversely affected, when those companies went bankrupt. But how long did they have it? How great did they have it for, how long, prior to that bankruptcy? Yeah. And probably they were able to use that experience and go find a job elsewhere. And really, at the end of the day, going back to a conversation we had about Rick Perry, former governor of Texas, where there's that whole like ice storm that went through Texas. At the end of the day, you as the head of household are responsible for you and your family, right? For you to say like this employer is responsible for taking care of me and my family, or let alone the government is responsible for taking care of me and my family, that is not the right mentality I think we should want to propagate throughout the U.S. And so I get it. You put your eggs in the basket working for Trump, and now all of a sudden, he declares bankruptcy on the company. Yeah, not ideal, but again, it's not that black and white either, right?
And, with companies today, with technology and everything is being disrupted, companies have to adapt. I saw it as our company adapted and changed. A lot of people were let go. People lost their jobs because we had to cut, we had to downsize, and other people can say, "Oh, it's just management trying to take more for themselves." Well, that's one attitude, one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is,
I hate that one, though.
Another way of looking at it is, you have to do what you have to do to stay competitive, and you have to cut the fat out. Get rid of the waste or the if you don't really need it. Is again, as Churchill said, it's a cruel, rough, and tough way, but it's still the best way.
Absolutely,
the best form of.
And we've covered this before.